Hey, 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 it's your girl Kellia with Black Girl Happy Planner and just bringing you another memory keeping minute. Shout out to all my Gen Xers out there. Um, just hoping we are, um, taking it all in. The commercials and TV programs and documentaries and things, they're coming for us. They're coming for the 80s, they're coming for Gen X, they're coming for the 90s because they know that's what we like. They know we old school. So all the old school things that are popping up lately, a lot of documentaries, movies, books, um, TV shows, things like that. A lot of social media, Gen X, handles on things back in the 80s, things that are happening back in the 90s are all popping up left and right. And also people are trying to come for us. So, all you people that come back for the people that come for Gen X, keep doing what you do. So anyway, I wanted to do a quick review of the Judy Blume documentary on Amazon Prime. And so for those of you who haven't seen it, and if you're Gen X, I know you know who Judy Blume is, so please don't try to front. But Judy Blume was a author from back in the day, a young adult, they call it YA now, but young adult author back in the day who wrote books like Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret, Super Fudge, Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing, things like that. And those were great books. But Amazon Prime just recently did a documentary on her because she's been writing for a long time. And the documentary, if you have not watched it, I encourage you to watch it because it's very insightful into her personal life and how she came to be a writer. Like she was a married woman in the suburbs and who wanted to write and started writing these books for kids. And so phenomenal life, very interesting, very much a woman, feminist, things like that. Back in the day, people tried to ban her books, which I didn't really understand. They were for kids and they were talking about the things that kids talked about. People fascinate me. They don't want artists, writers, movie makers, things like that. They don't want them to make stuff that talks about the stuff that kids need to talk about. I don't really understand that. But then there are parents who will not talk about the stuff that kids need to talk about with their kids. So I don't really understand that. So you're either going to talk to your kids about the stuff or you're going to let them get it from the places that they need to get it from, whether it's books, movies, what have you. But you also need to then discuss these things. And make sure your kid is level-headed about all the stuff they need to know about. But I'm not going to get on my soapbox this week, on my teacher soapbox. But I wanted to talk to you real quick how great the Judy Blume documentary is. Again, it's on Amazon Prime. Make sure you watch it. I'm just going to highlight some of the things. Also, Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret. If you read that book back in the day, I think the movie is out already. I think it came out in the spring. So it's Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret. Great book to have your kids now, especially your girls, have them read it. But also to go see the movie if you can with your girls or a group of girls. Moms, and this is a great opportunity for moms and girls to go see stuff like that. And nowadays, these are the types of things they want you to do. They're encouraging you, giving you media to then start a conversation. Back in the day, we didn't have that. I mean, yeah, we had the book, but you was on your own if you read it. And our moms, in the 80s, our moms had these conversations with us, but not like mothers be having conversations with their kids now. Like, y'all be best friends, and that's a whole nother discussion. However, Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret is a film that's out now, so I encourage you to go see it. But again, the fun things that Judy Blume brought into our lives, some of the books that she wrote, Super Fudge. Super Fudge was a bad little boy. Let's just be clear. He was mischievous, whatever we want to call it nowadays, mischievous, misbehaving, whatever. But he was bad. Okay? Super Fudge, but it was a good book. Like, it was a fun book to read about this kid and all the shenanigans he got into. Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing was a very good book because if you were in those same grades when she wrote these books, you could relate to some of the things that she was talking about. Otherwise known as Sheila the Great, that was a really good book. Of course, like I mentioned, Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret, Blubber was a very eye-opening book. It opened our eyes to bullying and the things that other kids do to other kids. And just as a person who works in the school systems now, bullying takes on a different form. It's much meaner now. They're meaner. Not all the kids, but some of them, they're just meaner, and they just like, they just like take the knife and like, get you real hard, with something. Whereas back in the day, we had your mama jokes, or, your feet so big that, we had those type of jokes, like lighthearted, but smart, jokes and things where we made fun of each other. But no one was pulling out guns and knives, and, we wasn't fighting over everything. And if somebody did fight, usually it was legit, and you fought fair. You went out after school and you punched it out, and somebody got knocked in the face, whatever. Or you might fight in school. That's a whole nother, but if you saw a fight in school, everybody's like, oh, fight, you know how that worked. But it was a fair, we always fought fair. No one brought extra weapons or anything to do these things. So I don't, this is a new generation. This Gen Z, I don't really know, what y'all be doing or thinking about, but y'all are mean to each other. So stop being mean, Gen Z. And parents, if you have Gen Z kids, make sure you ask them about bullies and things like that in school, and make sure they're okay. And if you have to have a talk with your teacher, then go ahead and do that. So anywho, so Blubber was a really good book, really eye-opening. Also, there was a book she wrote. So she wrote mostly YA young adult all the way through most of her writing career. But then in late 80s, I don't have the date on it, I'll have to look it up. But she wrote this book called Wifey. And it was an adult, it wasn't young adult, it was an adult book. It was for like those suburban housewives. Nowadays we got these housewife shows, or, women who don't have nothing else to do, who go out and spend money and all this stuff, or they might have an affair, whatever. Wifey was our window into this, kind of suburban housewife situation. But it wasn't for kids. So that was like the first non-young adult, non-kid book she wrote. I saw, my mother had this book. So I had all the other Judy Blume books, but my mother had Wifey sitting on the shelf. Now, we weren't supposed to read it, but I snuck. I would sneak because it had this risque cover. Wifey had this very risque cover. It was like a lady. She wasn't nude, but like they showed, her cleavage, and it was sweaty, and you're like, and she had this locket. And you're like, ooh, I want to read that. So it was on my mother's bookshelf. So I pulled it open, cracked it open a couple times. I would sneak and look at it. But back in the day though, that was stuff that was the stuff kids snuck and did. Nothing crazy, so she wrote Wifey. So she wrote a couple of adult books, and people gave her flack about that too. Like, why are you writing adult books now? Like, she could do what she wanted to do because she's a writer and she's Judy Blume. Leave her alone. So then she wrote, I think the whole movie on not Netflix. Let me get it right. Amazon Prime. That documentary is called Judy Blume Forever, and Forever was a very controversial young adult book that she wrote for young adults, but it was about, young adults and puberty, and two young adults, a boy and a girl, who fell in love, and there was some sexual content in there, and people got on her for that. They tried to ban her book once again, and, it was just, but these are things kids are doing, so why not let them read about them in a very good piece of literature? It's not like it was smut, and it's not like it was some of this bad writing that's out here now, because, everybody think they're an author. That's a whole nother topic. But yes, so Judy Blume wrote Forever, got some flack on that, but it's still a classic. And if you look at Forever now, compared to some of the stuff kids see on the internet and see on, all the different places that they can watch stuff, it's pretty mild. Okay, so yeah, if you have a chance and your kid has a chance to read Forever, go ahead, let them do that. with books like Forever, I'm not sure kids today have the same innocent experiences that Forever portrays in the book. I'm not sure kids